Hey there, history buffs and curious minds. Buckle up for an epic journey through the wild and tumultuous history of Spanish America. Imagine a world of revolutions, betrayals, and broken dreams. A sprawling empire on the brink of collapse, fighting for freedom but struggling to stay united. Why didn't Spanish America come together as one mighty nation like Brazil did? Let's dive into this fascinating story of empires, rebels, and rivalries that shaped an entire continent. Grab a snack, settle in, and let's uncover the secrets of a fractured past that still echoes today. Picture this. It's the late 15th century, and Christopher Columbus has just stumbled upon the Bahamas. From that moment, Spain's grip on the Americas grows into a massive empire, stretching across mountains, jungles, and deserts. This vast territory, often called Spanish America, was split into huge administrative chunks called viceroyalties. These were further divided into smaller regions known as intendancies or captaincies, and sometimes even into provinces. It was a complex web of control, designed to keep power in the hands of the Spanish crown, thousands of kilometers away across the ocean. Now, let's talk about the people in this empire. There were two key groups of Spanish descent, the Criollos and the Peninsulares. Criollos were folks born in the Americas to Spanish parents, while Peninsulares were born in Spain itself, on the Iberian Peninsula. On paper, they were equals under Spanish law. But in reality, not even close. Peninsulares got the best jobs, the highest political positions, and all the perks, even though there were far fewer of them in the colonies. Criollos, despite being white and of Spanish blood, often got the short end of the stick. They were privileged compared to other groups, sure, but not nearly as much as the Peninsulares. And let me tell you, this inequality made the Criollos pretty angry. Resentment simmered just below the surface, waiting for the right moment to explode. Fast forward to the year 1796. Spain and France have just teamed up against Britain by signing the Second Treaty of San Ildefonso. At this time, Spanish America was only allowed to trade with Spain, which frustrated many in the colonies. Britain, not thrilled about this alliance, slapped a blockade on Spanish trade routes. In response, Spain loosened its grip a bit, letting its territories trade with neutral countries. But for many Criollos, this small concession was way too little, and it came way too late. The seeds of rebellion were already planted. Now, let's jump to 1806. The British, always on the lookout for new opportunities, start eyeing South America. They set their sights on the Rio de la Plata estuary, believing it to be the perfect spot for a British colony. They sail up the estuary and launch an invasion, hoping to seize control. At first they make some headway, but local militias, led by fiery revolutionaries, push them back. And here's the kicker. Spain barely lifted a finger to help. Where was the Spanish crown during all this? Well, King Charles, often nicknamed the Hunter, was probably off enjoying his favorite pastime, leaving the messy affairs of state to his wife, Maria Luisa, and his prime minister, Manuel Godoy. Rumor has it, according to none other than Napoleon himself, that Maria Luisa and Godoy were more than just political partners, if you catch my drift. Things get even messier when Napoleon enters the scene. He sweet-talks Godoy, with a promise to split Portugal between them. Godoy, eager for power, lets French troops march through Spain to invade Portugal. This forces the Portuguese royal family to flee across the Atlantic to Brazil, moving their capital from Lisbon to Rio de Janeiro. Talk about a dramatic escape, but back in Spain, the people aren't happy with Godoy. They despise him, seeing him as a low-born man who's grabbed too much power. A mutiny erupts, and King Charles is forced to kick Godoy out. But the drama doesn't stop there. Charles and his son Ferdinand can't stand each other, and their bitter fight over the throne gives Napoleon a massive headache. So, what does he do? He invites the Spanish royal family to Bayonne, tricks them into abdicating, and exiles them. With French troops already in Spain, Napoleon crowns his own brother, Joseph, as the new king of Spain. Surprise, surprise, this doesn't go over well. The Spanish people revolt, and with no legitimate ruler on the throne, over 300 elected deputies gather in the city of Cadiz. They form what's called the Corte de Cádiz, a kind of parliament, to take control in the name of the absent king. Meanwhile, across the ocean in the Americas, Criollos see this chaos as their golden opportunity. Inspired by the French Revolution and the American War of Independence, two shining examples of successful rebellion, they decide it's time to act. With no Spanish crown to betray, they can revolt without guilt. Even some royalists, unhappy with a French king ruling Spain, join the Criollo cause. This is when a new form of self-government pops up in Spanish America, the juntas. These local councils initially claim to rule in the name of Ferdinand until he returns. But as you might guess, things don't stay so loyal for long. During the May Revolution in 1810, the viceroy of the Viceroyalty of Rio de la Plata is ousted, and the first junta takes over, renaming the region the United Provinces of the Rio de la Plata. This new government in Buenos Aires wants to extend its power over other provinces, but not everyone is on board. Some provinces resist, and Buenos Aires makes the terrible decision to send troops to subdue places like Asunción in Paraguay. The Paraguayans fight back fiercely and manage to hold their ground. The Spanish governor of Paraguay, thinking all is lost, flees, causing panic in the capital. To make matters worse, he stops paying his troops and even asks for help from the Portuguese, who the Paraguayans despise. This sparks a military uprising, and Paraguay forms its own power-sharing junta. They send a letter to Buenos Aires, saying they want independence but within a confederation of countries. Buenos Aires, however, dreams of a single unified state, with all power centered in their city. Reluctantly, they accept Paraguay's terms, but tensions remain high. Across Spanish America, the collapse of Spanish authority creates a massive power vacuum. Everyone wants a piece of the pie. Local strongmen, known as caudillos or warlords, rise up, trying to carve out their own little kingdoms. It's chaos on a continental scale. And into this chaos steps a man who will become a legend, Simón Bolívar. Born into a wealthy Criollo family in Caracas, Bolívar's life takes a tragic turn early on. While studying in Spain, he meets Maria Teresa, the love of his life. They marry and return to Venezuela, full of hope. But tragedy strikes when Maria Teresa falls ill with yellow fever and dies soon after. Heartbroken, Bolívar throws himself into travel across Europe, where he's deeply influenced by the Enlightenment, a movement that champions reason, liberty, and the idea that absolute monarchs are outdated. Politics and a burning desire to free his homeland fill the void left by his wife's death. In his own words, he now follows the chariot of Mars, the god of war, instead of the plow of Ceres, the goddess of harvest. Bolívar returns to South America and witnesses Venezuela's declaration of independence in 1811. But an earthquake and royalist counter-revolutions crush this first Venezuelan republic. Undeterred, Bolívar heads to Cartagena, seeking support. He writes the Cartagena Manifesto, blaming federalism for Venezuela's collapse, and is given an army. With it, he defeats royalists in battles at Ocaña and Cucuta, slowly building his reputation as a liberator. Meanwhile, in the south, another hero emerges, José de San Martín. Born in the Viceroyalty of Rio de la Plata, San Martin fights for Spain in the Peninsular War against Napoleon, before returning to Buenos Aires to support South American independence. He's appointed lieutenant colonel of cavalry, but must prove his loyalty. When he learns royalists plan to land in the town of San Lorenzo, he races over 300 kilometers in just 5 days under the blazing summer sun, outpacing the enemy who travel by river. Arriving first, San Martin hides his men in the San Carlos convent. At dawn, he launches a surprise pincer attack with 2 columns of 60 cavalrymen each, while infantry stay hidden inside, ready to fire if needed. Despite cannon fire and his horse being killed, pinning him underneath, San Martin leads the charge. His men save him from a royalist bayonet, and a second cavalry charge forces the Spanish to retreat. Outnumbered 2-1, the Patriots still win. San Martin proves his worth and is named Commander of the Army of the North, a title as cool as it sounds. But the United Provinces face trouble. The Eastern Province, craving a federal system, clashes with Buenos Aires, which wants centralized control. Montevideo is besieged by Federalist supporters, and troops from Buenos Aires abandon the city. The Eastern Province forms the Federal League, an alliance of provinces pushing for a confederation. Political differences spark conflict, and civil war looms. Meanwhile, in Paraguay, the power-sharing junta shrinks to just one man, Francia, who becomes a dictator, plunging the country into isolation. Back in Venezuela, Bolívar launches his admirable campaign, marching toward Caracas. He issues the decree of war to the death, promising no mercy to Spaniards who don't join the patriot cause. He enters Caracas in triumph, proclaiming the Second Venezuelan Republic. But across the ocean, King Ferdinand, restored to power, abolishes the liberal constitution of 1812 and reasserts absolute monarchy. Royalist troops in the Americas retake Venezuela, ending Bolívar's republic. He flees to Cartagena, then Jamaica after surviving an assassination attempt, and finally to Haiti, where he gains support to continue his fight. Royalist forces pour into the Americas, quelling rebellions in Venezuela, New Granada, and Chile, achieving a partial reconquest. But Bolívar doesn't give up. With help from Haiti, he captures Angostura, promising freedom to slaves who join his liberation army, a tactic used by both sides to recruit mestizos, indigenous people, and enslaved individuals with promises of social reform. In the south, the Portuguese forcibly annexed the eastern province, adding another layer of complexity to the region. San Martin teams up with Bernardo O'Higgins, a fellow revolutionary from Chile. Together, they cross the Andes Mountains, a grueling journey of over 3,000 meters in elevation, and win the decisive Battle of Maipú, expelling royalists from Chile. San Martin declines to rule Chile, leaving O'Higgins as supreme director, and focuses on liberating the rest of South America. By now, it's clear that Spanish America is fragmenting. Different regions gain independence at different speeds, shattering any hope of a unified superstate. In the north, Bolívar, with British support, yes, the British, who shift from neutrality after Napoleon's defeat, crosses the Andes and wins the Battle of Boyacá, capturing Santa Fe. He merges Venezuela and New Granada into Gran Colombia, renaming Santa Fe as Bogotá. But royalist control lingers in parts of the territory. Meanwhile, in the United Provinces, the Federal League defeats Buenos Aires at the Battle of Cepeda, leading to a federal agreement where each province gains sovereignty under a federal government. Let's shift to North and Central America. Cuba and Puerto Rico remain loyal to Spain, thanks to a booming economy built on slavery. After the Haitian Revolution, sugar plantations in these islands are in high demand, and slave owners fear revolt or abolition if they break free. A strong Spanish military presence also keeps independence movements in check. In Santo Domingo, the Captain General declares independence as Spanish Haiti and is peacefully annexed by Haiti 3 months later. In contrast, New Spain and the Captaincy General of Guatemala gain independence and form the Mexican Empire. But it's a mess. After Emperor Iturbide abdicates, the provinces of Guatemala form the Federal Republic of Central America, except for Chiapas, which joins Mexico due to its unique identity shaped by rugged terrain over 2,000 meters high. The southern region of Soconusco remains disputed between Mexico and Guatemala. Predictably, civil war erupts in Central America over liberal versus conservative reforms, leading to secessions by Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Honduras, and others. In Peru, San Martin declares independence, but royalist pockets persist. Bolívar defeats the last royalists in Gran Colombia and annexes Panama after a bloodless revolt. Fearing San Martin might claim Ecuador for Peru, Bolívar moves south, and his marshal Sucre wins the Battle of Pichincha, occupying Quito. At the Guayaquil Conference, Bolívar and San Martin meet, but no one knows exactly what was said. They agree that uniting all of Spanish America is impossible due to internal rebellions, power-hungry caudillos, and logistical nightmares posed by vast distances. Some regions are over 5,000 kilometers apart, and underdeveloped trade routes through mountainous terrain reaching 4,000 meters high. San Martin hands his army to Bolívar and retires to Europe, while Bolívar focuses on liberating Peru, winning key battles and becoming dictator there. Sucre secures Upper Peru, and despite Bolívar's displeasure, the region becomes independent as Bolivia, named to honor him. The last royalist stronghold in Callao surrenders, and Bolívar writes a constitution for Peru before returning to Gran Colombia. But unity remains elusive. In the east, Brazil and the United Provinces clash over territory, leading to the creation of Uruguay as a buffer state through British mediation in the Treaty of Montevideo. Gran Colombia itself fractures into New Granada, Ecuador, and Venezuela due to federalist-centralist tensions and regional differences. Central America continues to splinter amid civil wars. So, why did Brazil stay united while Spanish America fell apart? In 1815, the Portuguese royal family elevated Brazil from a viceroyalty to a kingdom. His son, Dom Pedro, stayed in Brazil as Prince Regent and, on September 7, 1822, declared independence by the Ipiranga River, becoming emperor. He centralized government, cut his own salary, and reformed the justice system. Unlike Spanish America, Brazil avoided a power vacuum. The monarchy provided stability, and revolts were too weak to split the country. In Spanish America, the story was different. The power vacuum after Napoleon's invasion led to fragmentation. Vast distances, some viceroyalties spanned over 2,000 kilometers, rugged terrains with peaks over 5,000 meters, and deep regional rivalries made unity a pipe dream. Caudillos fought for local control, and political differences between federalists and centralists tore regions apart. While Brazil had a unifying figure in Dom Pedro, Spanish America's heroes like Bolívar and San Martin couldn't overcome the chaos. And so, a continent that could have been one nation became many, each forging its own path through struggle and sacrifice. What do you think? Could Spanish America have united under different circumstances? Let's keep this conversation going as we explore history's what-ifs together.